Do y'all remember how Joe Biden made student loan forgiveness a key policy point for him, and conservatives and the courts did their best to scuttle that effort? I promise you this will be entirely relevant to some bullshit that the Trump regime is trying to pull now and the hypocrisy of the right. But first, I want to point you to the SCOTUS blog and the Supreme Court's ruling from June of 2023. So back in 2023, with a 6-3 vote, with the conservative Christo-fascist majority getting their way, once again, would like to remind folks that who you elect as president has consequences. Trump's first administration has had dire consequences for the American people because he got to put 3 Christo-fascists on the Supreme Court and stack that court in favor of a Project 2025 Christo-fascist agenda. Don't ever fucking tell me that both parties are exactly the same, because just think about what the Supreme Court would look like, how the rule of law would have been defended over the last several years, how we would not be in the position that we're in right now if Hillary Clinton, who I don't like, had been president instead of Donald Trump. Anyway, coming down off my high horse here, back in 2023 with a 6-3 ruling, the justices said that the Biden administration overstepped its authority when it announced that it would cancel up to $400 billion in student loans. The Biden administration had said that as many as 43 million Americans, right? That's more than 10% of Americans would have benefited from Biden's loan forgiveness program. Nearly half of all student loan borrowers in the United States would have had all of their student loans forgiven. It was tremendously sensible on so many levels, not the least of which it made incredibly good economic sense. I want everybody to remember, please remember, it was 6 Republican attorneys general and 2 individuals with student loans who challenged Joe Biden's plan. They urged the justices to strike down the debt relief plan for student loan borrowers, arguing that it did not comply with the HEROES Act and other federal laws. But before the court could reach that question, it had to determine whether any of the challengers had a legal right, known as standing, to bring their challenge in the first place. Initially, the court said that those plaintiffs did not have standing because they could not prove that they were being harmed by Joe Biden forgiving student loans for 43 million Americans. How could you two, as student loan holders, possibly be harmed by Joe Biden forgiving your student loans? But then the attorneys general said that they did have standing, and Missouri specifically said it had a right to sue because it impacted the Missouri Higher Education Loan Authority. And the federal justices agreed with that ruling and upheld the ban on student loan forgiveness. I mean, we need only look at all of the rulings that the Roberts Court has made in favor of Donald Trump's authoritarian overreach, how their unitary executive theory is one that they will push when their guy is in office, extending ridiculous amounts of power to him and his executive branch, saying that he shall not be questioned. But back in 2023, when Biden ran the executive branch, Roberts was singing a different tune. He said that the Secretary of Education did not have the power to waive laws and regulations related to student loans. And at the time, Amy Coney Barrett said that what Biden was trying to do went far beyond what Congress could reasonably have understood to have been granted by the HEROES Act. And yet, during this regime run by Donald Trump, we have seen SCOTUS consistently allow Trump to trample on Congress's purview, their authority. So we saw when a Democrat was in power that the conservative justices were committed to reining in the power of the executive, even when it benefited the American people. But when their guy is in office, they are pushing their unitary executive theory, which will come back to bite them. We'll see how they behave when it is no longer a Republican in the White House. I know some of the folks on the Supreme Court, I'm sure, are hoping that there will never be another legitimately elected president in the U.S. again. Because again, they want their Christo-fascist vision. And for fuck's sake, when we get a Democrat back in the White House, we had better see her or him use all of that executive power that SCOTUS has lobbed on Donald Trump. We had better see him or her utilizing all of that unitary executive power to undo the damage that Trump has done. Okay, so sorry I was a little long-winded there, but understanding all of that context, we are now hearing with an announcement from the Department of Homeland Security that ICE is rolling out a new program as they are desperate to meet their 10,000 new ICE agent recruitment goal that will offer not only now $50,000 signing bonuses. Before it was like 40, then 42, then 45. Now they're offering $50,000 signing bonuses and wait for it, student loan forgiveness. According to Democracy Now!, ICE is launching a major recruitment campaign to hire officers, lawyers, and investigators by offering them $50,000 signing bonuses and student loan forgiveness. ICE is just like flush with cash after Republicans in Congress agreed to take a ton of our $150 billion of our tax money over the next 10 years and funnel it straight into ICE. They've already gotten this influx of $76.5 billion, $30 billion of which will be used for hiring thousands of staffers in order to meet the Trump regime's goal of 1 million deportations annually. By the way, the New York Times is also reporting that according to a private memo that has been leaked, that the Trump regime wants to deploy the National Guard to 20 states in the coming weeks. Their goal is to snatch asylum seekers, people here going through the legal process to get their green cards, immigrants who grow our food, build our houses, peacefully live their lives, and pay their fucking taxes. We are now seeing billions and billions and billions of our taxpayer money being spent on this. It is nonsensical. It is the epitome of not only cruelty, but absolute government waste. We could just have immigration reform. After all, about 70% of Americans want to see undocumented immigrants given a legal pathway to stay in this country, and they oppose deportation of those immigrants. What Trump is doing is incredibly expensive, incredibly inhumane, and incredibly unpopular with the American people. Now, we know that there is a limited supply of January 6th insurrectionists and oath keepers that they could recruit to work for ICE itself. So now they're having a hard time meeting their quotas of building Donald Trump's secret police force, the American Gestapo, up to 10,000. So they've got to go sweeten the deal, y'all, with our taxpayer money, because they're real flush with cash now that Congress has given them tens of billions of dollars of our hard-earned money. They are going to use it, not for student loan forgiveness for you and me, not for the 43 million people in the United States that Joe Biden was going to offer student loan forgiveness to. No. Just to the American Gestapo, just to ICE. It's only student loan forgiveness if you agree to terrorize immigrants around the country. That's the plan. Special favors. The Supreme Court said, no, we can't do student loan forgiveness because that's going to hurt Republican states. It's totally an overreach of the executive. But now suddenly the executive can do student loan forgiveness for the American Gestapo. This is the United States of America right now. Are we great again yet? You tell me.